First and foremost, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Racha, Kodash. Double honor and salutations to the apostles and elders, Great Millstone. Much respect to you brothers out on the highways and byways pushing this truth with fear and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect. This your brother Khalak Har of GMS Northwest. Come back at you with another video, quick one. Just, going over, what's in the news, linking it to the scriptures, and ultimately prophecy. Prophecy is speaking. It's continuing to speak, and it's continuing to show us that the word of the Lord is true, and it's not going out void. As a matter of fact, what's that, Isaiah 55? To get that, start that off. Isaiah 55 and 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. For ye shall go out with joy and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills shall break forth before you into singing, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. But going back to the 11th verse, what the prophets, the Lord, who the Lord set up, our first and foremost, our apostles and our elders, our brothers, great Millstone, have been bringing out this word, bringing out these prophecies, and they're jumping off the page, with all the, every time you turn around, there's something going on inside of Babylon the Great or around the world. Esau's kingdom, to be exact. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob's the beginning of that follower. So right now you're currently watching an episode of the end of Esau Edom's kingdom, his rulership. And Yahweh Shah is going to take over all of these kingdoms and rulerships when he comes back, pursuant to 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, when he should come and take all rule. And here, let's get it. Because Yahweh Shah coming back to take our rule and put all these other places down. 1 Corinthians 15 and 24, then cometh the end when he shall have delivered up the kingdom of the Most High, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and authority and power, for he must reign till he have put all enemies under his foot. Yeah, and Esau Edom, it's his main target. The rest of the nations as well, because they touched the apple of the Lord's eye. They had a part, all these nations out here had a part in taking down the Israelites, and Amalek, is the front leader, the least of the flock, the rattiest of the rats, is bringing out all of these other nations, until that judgment, But like I was saying, a lot is going on in the skies, where there be, a planetary alignment, where there be so-called UFO spaceships, whether it be blood moons, blue moons, you name it. A lot of things are happening in the sky. You're seeing the sun, with solar flares and causing, disruption between satellites and, and infrastructure. A lot is going on. But in this article from VDN, it's VixBirdNews.com, moon to dance with Saturn and Neptune in tonight's skies. And that's tonight, July 16th. I believe it's in Kentucky, Slovakia. Vicksburg, Mississippi. Stargazers in Warren County, Mississippi, are for a celestial treat tonight as the moon pairs up with Saturn and Neptune for a rare and dazzling display in the night sky. The astronomical event often described by skywatchers as a cosmic dance, will begin shortly after sunset when the waxing gibbous moon rise in the southeast. Saturday will appear just above and to the left of the moon, while Neptune will hover farthest east, dim but detectable with the aid of binoculars or a small telescope. According to astronomy.com, the alignment won't be exact, but the visual proximity of the three celestial bodies, make a striking spectacle. While Saturn is often visible to the naked eye as a bright yellow-white star, Neptune, the most distant planet in the solar system, typically requires optical assistance due to its faint glow. The moon's brightness tonight may slightly obscure Neptune, but dark sky locations away from the city lights will increase the odds of spotting it. Weather forecasters for the Vicksburg area predict mostly clear skies, making it ideal viewing conditions. Residents are encouraged to head outside shortly after sunset after an unobstructed view and enjoy one of the simpler wonders of the universe. This particular arrangement of the moon, Saturn, and Neptune won't occur again in this configuration for several months. While similar pairings happen from time to time, the timing, brightness, and visibility all depend on the moon's phase and optical position. So you get the point, These planets are lining up, and we know we're not dismayed over, the planets lining up. We know they're there for signs and for reasons. There's something that's about to happen. Jeremiah 10:1, hear the word which the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. So this word is to you Israelites. It's not to the whole world. It's not to the heathen. It's not to everybody that think they can be a part of it. It's to you, the house of Israel. You so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and you speckled bird that scattered around the four corners of the globe. You might look like the heathen nations, but your blood goes back to the Hebrew Israelites. Your forefather is a Hebrew Israelite. Verse 2, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shah, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. So those signs in heavens, they're dismayed at them. As a matter of fact, let me read it in the NLT. This is what the Lord says. Don't act like the other nations who try to read their future in the stars. Do not be afraid of their predictions, even though other nations are terrified by them, Because you got other nations out there the planet is lining up. This is what this mean, and we're in this year, and then this is what this mean, and we're in the year of the rabbit, and the year of the cockroach, and the year of the lizard, and all of this shit. They look up in the skies and say shit like that, But the Lord is commanding you, not to live a life like the heathen, basically, not to follow in the customs of the heathen, because that'll get you cut out, that'll get you messed up. But it's a lot, Not only that, these are tokens, right? Second Esdras 5:1. Nevertheless, as coming the tokens, behold, the day shall come, that they which dwell upon earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. And that's what you got today. Our own people, dealing with the heathen thing, but our own people, let's get on our own people right now. Our own people are the same as Israelites that was in the wilderness. They got clipped off. The Lord had to take them out. Reading the book of Numbers, you got 24,000 dying at one blow, 14,000 dying in one blow. The Lord ain't playing. As going back to the top of that verse, nevertheless, as coming the tokens. As a matter of fact, let's look at that word token. Tokens, and the etymology online. Tokens. Tokens. It says token, a noun, Old English to send, sign, symbol, evidence, portent, related to verb to can, can, show, explain, teach. Pro-Germanic takidna, source also of Old Saxon Tikan, or Old Norse Tikini, zodiac sign, omen. Oh, there we go, omen, a token, a sign. So sign, symbol. So an omen. Nevertheless, is the omens, the predictions. The day shall come that which dwell upon the earth. They that which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number. And I take it back to, our people, like in the wilderness. They was bickering, they was complaining, this and that. We should have stayed in Egypt. The Lord took them out in a great number. And that's the same thing, because our people today, they're complaining. They got something to say about everything. They want to buck up at the prophets. They want to say they're the truth, the way. I just saw a video that one of the brothers was doing, and it was talking about this Jake that was in GMS, and now he's calling himself God, which is complete madness. Complete madness. It says, in the land that thou seest now to have root, shalt thou see wasted suddenly. In this land, it says now that thou seest now to have root, because it has America roots or planet, and it's throughout the four corners of the globe. The way of Babylon the Great. It's pushed on all these other countries. Esau going to your country, set up shop, and want you to act like him, and want you to have his ways. But nevertheless, going back to these tokens, man, because, people, are going to be taken in a great number. 2nd Esdras 8 and verse 50, for many great miseries shall be done to them in the latter time shall dwell in the earth. Yeah, people are paycheck to paycheck. People don't got the funds to do anything. People are upset. Many great miseries because they walked in pride. Many great miseries shall be done to them in the latter time shall dwell in the roar, because they have walked in pride. But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such that be like thee. For unto you is paradise open, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared, plenteousness is made ready, a city is builded, the rest is allowed. Yeah, perfect goodness and wisdom. Yeah, that's immortality. Special powers, reigning with Yahushua 1,000 years, putting the earth back in this rightful order, being having your name for centuries and centuries, forever. You're a remembrance. Salakia. I'm read 53. It says, the root of evil is sealed up from you. Weakness and the moth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into hell to be forgotten. Sorrows are past, and in the end is shewed the treasure of immortality. Hey, that's the spirit. That's the spirit, But yeah, these tokens, man. This is don't be dismayed over it. The moon to dance with Saturn and Neptune. Today there was a 7.3 magnitude earthquake, triggers brief tsunami warning for Southwest Alaska communities. So this was like earlier today. An earthquake with a magnitude of 7.8 center off Alaska's Aleutian chain Wednesday briefly triggered a tsunami warning for coastal areas of the state. The quake struck about 55 miles south of the community of Sand Point shortly after 12:30 p.m. at the depth of about 12 miles, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. So again, earthquakes. What scripture you think of that should be Matthew 24? Wars, rumors of wars, and earthquakes, or better yet, let me get second Esdras. What is it, 9? Second Esdras 9. We could read Matthew 24 as well. Second Esdras 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligent in itself, and when thou seest parts of the signs pass, once I had told you before, moon, Saturn, Neptune dancing, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time where the highest will begin to visit the world which you made. Therefore you shall see earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. We got earthquakes, and we got what? Let's look at uproar. Europe. Come on, sorry, I got big fingers. Europe in uproar. Salakia. Right now, there's protesters in Europe. Yeah, here we go. 7. Farmers protest in Brussels over budget cuts in agriculture. There was something recent, too. Yeah, here we go. Tourists go home inside of anger protests in Spain, holiday island. It says, and scenes echo across southern Europe. Spain's Canary Islands are suffering from a crisis of too many tourists. 18 million rejected to visit in 2025 on a Tenerife, where tourism accounts for 35% of the economy. Well, that's not really, I mean, people don't go the fuck they want to go. See, they're not going to show you. It's on you. I know I saw it on YouTube. You know, they're not going to show you what's going on right now. Anti-tourist. It says recent protests across Europe are targeting the negative impacts of mass tourism, with locals expressing concerns about rising housing costs, environment damage, and the strain on the public service. These protests often involve local and confronting tourists with actions like water guns and occurring in popular destinations like Barcelona, Venice, and Lisbon. The protests highlight a growing tension between the economic benefits of tourism and the desires for local communities to maintain a suitable and affordable quality of life.
As people in some parts of Europe and these big cities protest the surge of tourists from the U.S. and other countries, a strike by workers at France's famous Louvre Museum left thousands of visitors stuck in lines yesterday. It comes after demonstrators, some with water pistols, hit the streets of Portugal and Spain over the weekend. They are worried tourists are driving up costs and pricing residents out of their very own neighborhoods. Chris Livesay joins us from Rome. Chris.
You get the point. Salakia for, trying to find that and whatnot. But it's worse than that. I've seen videos of people destroying shit and, police is out there and all that. But going back to verse 2, it says, then thou shalt understand at this very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when you see earthquakes and upwards of the people in the world. So we saw the upwards of the people a little bit, and people in upwards here too. But here's another, the earthquake, 7.3. This is prophecy. It's prophecy. Prophecy is happening, connecting the what's happening in real time to the scriptures. Verse 4. Then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the beginning, from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so, the times also the highest have plain beginnings, and wonders and powerful works, and the end and effects and signs. So, these are signs. These are tokens. These are not being dismayed at what is going on in the current world that we're currently in. Now, going back to that Matthew 24 and 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. We saw the earthquakes. We know COVID-19 still making this run, and any other sicknesses as well you don't even know about. Famines over there in the so-called Middle East. Humanitarian aid. The Gaza, in Gaza, they're getting shot up when they're trying to just get some humanitarian aid. Nation rising against nation. Look at what Syria. Israel. It says Syria news anchor reacts live as Israel
إن الجيش سيواصل مهاجمة قوات إن الجيش سيواصل مهاجمة قوات إن الجيش سيواصل مهاجمة قوات إن الجيش سيواصل مهاجمة قوات
Yeah. Syrian government and Druzi minority leader announced a new ceasefire as Israel continues to strikes. So Israel is not going to stop, man. These are bloodthirsty, hungry ass, individuals. Look at that. Shelter in place. Where they going? It's like his airbags was deployed from the blast. So yeah, it's going to continue to ramp up. It's going to continue to happen. Verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows, first birth pains, and more to come. More to come. So that's all I have. Just keeping an eye on prophecy and watching out for the times. Watching out for the times. So we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rachah Kadash. Hope you was edified. Hope you got some.